Alright, good morning. I'm gonna keep working on this today. Oh, that's where I was. Alright. This is making that little scraping noise, so we'll loosen the... Nope, that didn't help anything. Thought maybe loosening the cylinder would let it wiggle a little bit. But we'll just tighten that back in place and try switching these bearing caps out. Yeah. Actually, I think I'll try switching top to bottom on these first. Well, his big side is loose, so I'm tired of them flipping against the back of my hand. So, throw an elastic hair tie on there. Elastic hair ties are pretty handy as a rubber band replacement because they have that fabric or whatever it is on the outside to try and keep them from tangling in hair, and that also keeps them, the elastic, protected from sharp edges so that they don't cut as quickly. So I actually keep them around and use them for basically anything I'd use a rubber band for. Alright, I turned one bearing cap. There we go. I turned that cap end for end, and it got rid of that little metallic scraping noise that I had. So that problem is solved. This is all in line. Make sure that these are tight. Beautiful. Let's see. I guess I'll put the oh, my brain's not working this morning. We'll put this piece back in. What was the... Nope. It's these super long ones. Alright. Now, because this is where the valve timing comes from, think about which way this timing is supposed to work. Let's see. There's the two lobes for the intake and the exhaust. Let's see, the head went that way up, and the intake is the top valve, so the intake is the top of this housing. That's this one here. Oh, and it occurs to me I need to make sure which way this rotates. Because the lobes are 90 degrees, we need to make sure the exhaust opens before the intake, because that's the correct order. So, we'll just hold this in place. The starter has the key on it. So inside here, we turn it the direction the starter shows, and we'll see that the gear in there is rotating this direction. And I got lucky. It rotates this way, and that bottom lobe is the exhaust. So the exhaust opens, and then the intake opens, and then it has the two dead spots. So exhaust at 0, intake at 90, 180, 270 are both valves closed for compression and ignition. So I did get this right. If you had this upside down, I think it would open the wrong order. Okay, now one of these is started. Now, can I... Nope. I'm going to have to get this timed before I get that screw started. Thought maybe I'd be able to wiggle it and engage it with one of the screws in place, but that is not the case. So, let's see. If that is the top, dead center, we want that to be between the exhaust and the intake. So I'm going to put the exhaust and the intake lobes in there, and I'm holding the two valve lifters in place. Oh, and I already, there we go. There. Alright, and I got the gears to mesh. I'll tip this, drop a screw in there. There. Alright, now this is going to be the dicey part. I really won't have any idea if this timing is correct until we pop the head on there in a second. And, there is not clearance for this bolt to get put in while the flywheel is in place. Well, that is really frustrating because now I have to well, I'm sure that this engine is assembled and then the flywheels are stuck on the end after everything is in place, because that would make it way easier to do everything. I am going to see if loosening these bearing journals will give me just enough room to slightly lift the wiggle the crank here without losing the gear mesh that I worked so hard to get just a second ago. Line that as far as we can, and nope. All right. Well, at least the journals are all straight here. And we'll just have to figure out a different way to time the valves. Actually, I think I have that lined up. What I'm going to do before I pop these caps off, straighten that around. Top dead center, looking in there for a mark, which I'm not seeing. Bottom dead center, doesn't have a mark. Yeah, there's no marking in there. Okay. I was peering very carefully at the side of the gear here to see if there was a mark on the side, and there is not. So get our trusty black Sharpie. There. Put those two in, and now I will pop this back in. Alright, I have this set for top dead center. Nope. And every time I have my mark out, top dead center, there. That actually hit, the gears meshed, and my mark is in the right spot, so hopefully that's still right. We'll assemble the head and put that on, and then check and see if it looks like the timing is still correct on the valves. Oh. Still no mysterious metally noises, so that's good. Set that over there and put the valves back in. So the exhaust valve has a bit of carbon on it, so put that in the matching carbon spot. A spring and the keeper and the C-clip. There we go. One valve in. The intake valve, spring, keeper. And the springs on the ET8 are significantly stronger than either of the springs on any of the other engines. Even the exhaust spring on the other hit and miss engines isn't as stiff as the springs on the ET8, and I think that's because the ET8 runs a little faster. The extra spring action helps keep the valves from floating. Also, because it uses the spring of the valves to hold the push rods into the cups on the various parts of the engine. So, let's see. Should I put the head gasket in now? I may as well. There it is. Okay, I don't know why that. Oh, that screw is slightly longer than this one. I should have matched all these head bolts up before I started putting them in, but this engine only has like 3 lengths of any screw size, so it's pretty easy to get the right ones in the right place by guess. Alright. And right. Go. And if you really have a clearance issue here, there is a C-clip to pull these rockers off. And now, the push rods. They both fit into little cups on either end here, so to get them in place, just make sure that the valve is supposed to be closed, and then just compress the spring and pop the push rod in place. Now, let's see, that's, turn this the right way. Okay, turning the correct direction. Should have a, okay, that must be power. Okay, that was intake, compression, power. Oh, there's exhaust. All right, exhaust, intake. Power. I think I'm one tooth off because we'll see that the valve starts to move before it gets to bottom dead center is when the exhaust valve starts to move. So yeah, exhaust valve is partially open at bottom dead center. So I'm off by one tooth here. Since we're going to have to move this, I just thought I need to check the timing. The magnet for the ignition is right here right now. And let's see. Compression. That's supposed to be... No, that was intake. Compression. So ignition should be right about now. Alright, and the magnet is on the bottom, and that's where the... And the sensor is going to be on the bottom too, so I do have this the correct way around. Otherwise I'd have to switch the gear timing by 180. I'd have to switch that. Alright, I'm one tooth off. So let's turn this around until we get to our mark. Which way did I need it to go? It's early, so this gear needs to move that way. Right, because it's turning this way when the engine goes the right way, so it needs to go one tooth that way. Alright, let's find our mark in there. There's the mark. Alright. Need to get this all the way off. Trying to take a shortcut because this is a huge pain, but I skipped more than one tooth trying to do the shortcut. So alright, now top dead center. There we go. Now rotate this the correct direction. That was intake, compression, power, and oh, we're still early a tooth. Okay, so spin this around until our mark comes up, and then rotate this back by what looks like one tooth. Alright, now compression, power, and bottom dead center. There we go. Just as it goes under the bottom, the exhaust valve is opening. That's the spot. Now, I'll hope that I don't discover anything else that requires me to pop the crankshaft out and lose that valve timing. Of course, if I do that, I'm going to try and probably find a better way to do that, or more accurately mark it.